All right, team, what's going on? I'm Tim Jenkins, and welcome to All Things QB, where I watch every single clip and break down the most important ones. Today, we've got Caleb Williams, Week 18, and a tough loss against the Lions, but a lot to learn on this tape. But before we jump into it, please FTA this thing, which means comment for the algorithm. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if this is your first time with us. Welcome to the channel. I always say you can wait till the end of this video, and hopefully I will earn that subscription. But without further ado, let's jump into the film. All right, team. We are opening up with not a good, not a bad, but a tough. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to fit this DJ Moore in route in behind the coverage, kind of a dagger type concept. And it's just not there, right? We're just forcing something that we shouldn't be forcing if we're Caleb. The one thing I'll tell you guys on this is I really love the way they build the formation, because we do a ton of motion to type run in a go route. Instead, I love this look where we're going to have this clear here. We're going to motion to it. We're going to have the dig behind it. Love that, right? Going to give ourselves an opportunity. I guess for me, my issue is it feels like Loveland should be out a little bit quicker in this route. If you guys watch Loveland, it feels like he just gets caught up with the chip, which is tough because I'm assuming Caleb's supposed to technically read this thing DJ to Loveland out to the flat. It just, we got a ton of coverage, right? Like here and here, we can't be forcing this thing. You know, sometimes they're just going to make a good play, right? 46 right here. You guys watch him get underneath this dig route. Sometimes the defense is going to make a good play. So that's a tough one. That's a tough decision. See the motion across the formation. Good play action. Little reverse out fake. See how we're pulling that guy up front too? You guys see our left guard pull? Let me highlight him, sorry. You see this guy pull? That's what makes this thing run action, right? Because as we pull that guy, that's then run action instead of play action, because now up front, we're making more of a run look than we are just true pass pro. Yeah, this is just one that he wants back. Just keep working through the progression. Get it to Loveland. Get it to your back. Move on, right? Here, I love this one. This is the 4th down attempt. I think this is a great from Caleb. Now, we've got to finish this if we're Loveland. But from Caleb's perspective, that's a great. You got DJ motioning across. Yeah, that's just, to me, navigating the pocket, giving your guy a chance with it being 4th down, right? Now, obviously not taking a sack. I think Caleb was thinking too, I think he, a piece of him was thinking, hey, I'm going to run this thing if I had to guess. And then as that pocket starts to, really collapse on him, he ends up dumping it to Loveland. I actually really like the concept here from we motion across, right? We got to let this thing roll, but we motion across, and then we've got kind of a little, I want to call it a shin 6 route right here, paired with almost a curl. And then we've got this shallow cross here. He's going to sit. And then we got to check what Luther's on. Oh, he's just on a little under. I love the concept. I'm guessing Loveland, we would want to see him sit a little bit earlier. You see this void, how it's a little bit bigger. Normally, you tell these guys on these shallow crosses to sit in what we would call the far tackle box. So the opposite tackle, right? So it's like he's thinking more this hash, or maybe one or two steps inside the hash, which is where he ends up sitting. However, you don't want them to feel like they have to play paper football. If he pulls up right here, right now, heck of a lot easier, right? He's anticipating that backer probably getting more width. Also, you got a shot at DJ on that curl route. It was one of those concepts. It's an interesting concept. Haven't seen it on tape yet. Probably was an install for this week. Something that I'd be interested in seeing how they're trying to read it, what they're coaching up in the building in terms of, how do they want Caleb to get through this progression? But at the end of the day, Caleb does a good enough job giving his guy a chance, and then Loveland's just got to make this play on fourth down. Got to make these plays in the big moments on fourth down. That's just what we're going to end up having to do. Yeah. That's one that Loveland's going to want back. This one stinks, but this one is just, it's hard going through it, but this is just a bad. We've got wide open over route off a boot. We set it up perfectly. He's just, now, again, all these are tough from the standpoint of, could we make the argument that our receiver needs to make this play? Absolutely. Right? However, do we need to do a better job of putting this on our guy? That's a definitive yes. Right? What I like about this is, if you look at it personnel-wise, we get probably a D lineman in the game. He's here. Caleb reverse out, fakes it, gets to here. We've got this pull as well. Komet's bat to flat. We've got Zacchaeus on this ultra high. And then we have this over route running wide open. Definitely looks like a personnel grouping that we would be running the football out of. That's what makes it so good. And just wide open. And yeah, sure. Should we go down and make that play as a receiver? Yes, we should. We're in the National Football League as well. We can go down there and make that play. However, as a quarterback, we got to just put this thing on him. Caleb knows that. Caleb's not foolish. He knows that. Looking at it again, I want you guys to look at the run action, though, and that's part of what sells this thing so well. You guys see how the right guard and the fullback both working back makes it look like counter? And you see 46's reaction then? Right? Watch this reaction, because it looks like counter. And then we've got him wide open, and we just missed the dang thing. Ah, man. Yeah, this is part of where it's like, I just feel like this was one of our least effective games as a pro for Caleb, and just our offense. This feels more like weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, where we were just a little bit off in executing what we were getting asked to do. That's just unfortunate. Not what you want at this point in the year, but there are some positives to come out of it. This one is tough because as you guys watch this one unfold, you're going to see, hey, what are we trying to do? We're trying to take a shot play, right? So you get the big fourth down because of the offsides, right? We all remember that. Hey, we got a hard count, offside. We get the fourth down conversion. Then you're thinking to yourself as a play caller, all right, hey, got them on their heels a little bit. Let's go take a shot, right? Let's try to step on their throat a little bit. And then, unfortunately, you get a one-on-one matchup, and it's just, this is a really hard one because, my note here is, hey, give your guy a chance, right? Now, we do, technically. But part of the problem here is that it's going to sound funny. Part of the issue is that we throw such a good ball to where this ball on air would end up, this ball on air would end up being perfect. Like DJ Moore would just run underneath it and catch it in a walkthrough, right? It would look so good. Now, then in the game, the ball being where it's at puts this safety in a position where he can then box out and go and get it. So we got to look at what are we doing. We're short motioning DJ. We're going to short motion. We're going to work up. We're going to make it look like we're running that ultra high corner, and then we're going to run a country route across the field. We're going to make it look like we're booting, right? But we're going to pull up and then try to throw this thing across the formation. We've got our overrunner as a safety. We got another flat route here. I want you guys to watch. We turn this safety all the way around. Okay, so watch this safety. DJ Moore gets vertical. You see that? We turn him all the way around. We get a good look. He just makes a play, and it's like, man, I want to say give your guy a chance to make a play, but then it's like we do really. And then I want to say, all right, DJ, hey, we got to compete for this football a little bit better, but it is one of those where it's kind of like he just gets bumped off balance slightly, and then it's kind of like he can't get back to it to really compete for this thing. And honestly, the more I watch it, the more I feel like it's just one of those where stuff's gonna happen, right? Like, what do you really want DJ to do at that point? He gets boxed out. And then what do you want Caleb to do? Because Caleb throws a ball that if this guy doesn't bump DJ off his spot is perfect. So I think on this one, unfortunately, you're walking away saying kind of like, man, we executed this. They made a play. And that's all right. This one's really close. It's another tough one. It boils down to there was enough on tape of Caleb just not executing to the degree that we needed him to execute. We needed him to execute at a higher level. Even these sorts of plays where it's only a Caleb Williams can make it, he's got to make it. We just had too many inaccurate balls. You know, this one, look at this. Look at what we're asking him to do at this point. Okay, watch our right guard. Watch our right guard just gets beat inside. Okay? So I want you guys to watch this where, boom, gets beat right inside right away. Okay, so we're asking Caleb at this point now to retreat full speed and hit this overrunner who's wide open. Now, we spray it a little bit. So the question is this a bad on Caleb? Or should we be like, all right, hey, he didn't get sacked, which most guys would get just sacked in that situation, right? So it's like, okay, hey, he didn't get sacked. But then simultaneously, there's a chance here for a 15, 20-yard gain if executed. So it's one of those where, for me, it's really hard to truly give this a grade, other than the fact of we took him number 1 overall with the expectation that we could make throws like this. We would make the tough ones. That's really all I could say on something like this, because that's a tough one to make, but that's also our expectation of him, is to make the tough plays. Here's a great, we've got the bad arm angle on shallow. Like, that is awesome. That is huge. You're going to see it from the tight. You're going to love it. This is special. Look at this from the tight, from the arm, I apologize, from the tight, you can see the arm angle. Get the motion out. I really do like the concept. Sort of like a Seahawk, but paired with an Okie twist and a slot fade. So Seahawk is actually a two-man concept, but between these two, so you've got the deep Hank with the shallow. Okay? Hank, shallow, Seahawk. Right? Okay? Then you've got DJ Moore motioning outside. He's running the Okie twist with the slot fade. So to me, I'm guessing this is more of a man zone play in terms of zone. You're reading this thing 1 to 2. I mean, shoot, honestly, this is probably just straight up here progression. You got shallow to your deep Hank to your Okie twist, and then you're going to alert this against man coverage, right? You get post safety man to man. We feel like we like the matchup. Take the slot fade. Instead, we get zone. Boom. Just take it. Man. Sorry, I want to look at this one more time. Great job with his feet, too. Also, I didn't notice at first, but I love this usage of the back. You can see the back on this bullet route, and then watch how it widens the defender, which opens the shallow cross even more. You see how it widens that backer even more? That's awesome. Great design, great execution. These are the kind of plays that get you thinking, okay, hey, we're back on track. We're starting to move the ball again. We're getting into our rhythm. Starts thinking, all right, hey, we got a shot here. We got a shot at this one. All right, team, really quick. It is halftime. Please consider jumping over and doing the memberships. One thing I want to highlight is we've got the Bears extended cut breakdown coming tomorrow. I've got 4 clips, and it's going to be what it would be like to be in the building this week. We've got one play that I want to highlight just because I loved it, but then 3 plays where we've got corrections. We've got things we have to address going into the playoffs. And also, if you're a member, you get priority responses to your comments. So if you've been commenting, being like, oh man, Tim, hey, what do you think of this? And I haven't had a chance to respond, consider jumping over there, joining the memberships, because if you join that FTA army, I will respond to your comments, guys. Please consider doing that. If you can't, I totally understand. But if you love the content and you want to see me keep pumping out these videos, please consider joining the FTA army or the Film Junkie level. You guys know the deal. Let's jump back into the film. This one you guys are going to love. We got the post touchdown. Just great separation, great individual effort, and then really good job from Caleb finding him. We've got that nice little, Brady kept calling it a drift concept. I always call it a shin 6, but we had that nice little shin 6 that then Caleb gets off, and then bang, he gets his eyes backside, hits the post. We'll look at it, but I think it's really darn good quarterback play, man. I think he does a really good job seeing everything unfold. And then you hit enough of these little drift concepts, and then, of course, your guy's going to be open, right? You're going to be able to hit the big one. You get these safeties to start to set their feet. You get more of a quarters look, and then you're going to be able to hit it. So you can see here what they've got is he's got this little shin 6, which is more of a rolled in. We got this sit route. Then we've got this sit route here. And then we've got it paired with a post. And I want you to watch these safeties and how aggressive they are in terms of how flat-footed they are trying to take some of this stuff away. And then there's just no one left. And that's just that's great quarterback play, scanning the field and finding that. Because you can tell his eyes start to the right. You guys watch him right here. You can see, man, these eyes start to the right. You'll see his eyes are going to start to the right, and he's going to work his way back left. Look. Eyes, boom, reset, ball. That is awesome. Let's watch that one more time. See how greedy these safeties get. And then anytime you're in quarters coverage, you're going to have that where, you're in quarters coverage, and then you're going to have that where now we can beat them inside. And as long as we get that safety to kind of set his feet, we got a shot to go ahead and drive this thing down the field. This is just really well executed, man. Really well executed. Here's a great decision. This is one that it's a horrific play, but a great decision in terms of, it's funny because actually he probably had a shot to just drive that thing to Luther, just knowing his arm talent. But this is a great, great decision by Caleb to not try to scramble out, just sail this thing. Because he's got to make it to where it's you guys know he's got to make it to where it's a catchable football, right? Or not a catchable football, but, there's a receiver generally in the area. What's funny, though, is if he picks this up right here, and I mean, he probably does just stick this thing on him, right? Like if he could go back and do it, there's a chance in which Caleb just sticks that thing right on Luther. With that being said, this is a great decision to not make this play worse. Okay? Now, probably shouldn't have the ball just go right through our hands, but great decision to not compound errors. I love this one. This is Loveland on the little shin 6 route. We got Loveland on that little in breaker. Man, I just really, really enjoy some of these concepts and the way they're starting to come together. This is just... the way all this is starting to tie together, you guys are really gonna enjoy. And I think it's hard for me because do I think they were vanilla this week? I don't know if I really believe that as much as I believe more that we just kind of missed on some concepts that we had. But I really like this one where you can see we have this little shin 6 route again here. We got this guy working up, sitting down. Okay, we've got this sort of seam. To me, this is kind of a stick nod, but it's almost like he aborts the nod portion of it. And then you got these double sits or double unders outside. And then look at this, how, you get Tampa 2, right? So you sit here and you've got, okay, I got half. I've got push, press the flat. You got your mid hook, right? But then you sit there and you go, we actually end up Tampa 2 double basically because we get another dropper. But watch how this guy running the middle then opens up that shin 6 route because it's like he's staying flat. These guys are staying flat. He's running the middle. So there's kind of this huge horizontal void right here. Just really well designed and well executed. And then a perfect timing with the call based on what coverage we get. So overall, really great stuff. Exactly what you want. I like the team getting together, celebrating a little bit. Celebrating each other. Look at Caleb here. Look how decisive he was with his footwork in terms of knowing exactly where he was going with the football. That is awesome. Yeah. That is great, team. That is great. Here we've got the Loveland touchdown. Really diabolical concept, honestly. Because what they're doing is they're selling it as if it's that same side action where you have everybody going to the same portion of the field, really. Because what usually happens is usually off of this, we get this little action fake here, and then we got like a flat. We'll have this guy on an ultra high. He'll be, this guy's on the fast flat. He'll be on the rear view, right? Instead, what the Bears do is the Bears do this where they end up selling it front side. Okay, they make it look like we've got this. We've got this. So they're making everything look like that concept that we all know and have seen a bunch. And instead, Loveland's just going to work vertical. So you're going to see all these Bear defenders, or not Bear, Lion defenders start working to the front side to take away everything where they're used to seeing the flow go to. And then we're just going to sneak Loveland right through there. Caleb, not a great ball, obviously, but that's a heck of a catch. Obviously, we could make this substantially easier on him, but that's a heck of a job by our tight end going down and making a play. Bang. How about it? Now we got the 2-point dime. Definitely an off-schedule play. They're thinking they're going to sneak one with the machete. Instead, Komet ends up leaking out. Caleb does a great job finding him. I mean, Komet does an outstanding job holding on to this football. I mean, that's one thing we can't say enough. That is a tremendous job to hold on to the ball in that situation. What they're trying to do is they're trying to motion in this. They're trying to motion here. And they're trying to use Loveland and DJ to screen each other's guys and run that machete. They're going to have Luther kind of running this back line here. Komet, I'm not even sure if he's supposed to get out on this play. But he ends up missing. And then I think he sees Caleb scramble. And then you see him where he's on the ground right here. You guys always joke that Komet's always on the ground. But you see him right here. He's on the ground. He's got eyes on the quarterback. And then you see him right when Caleb starts to scramble. You see him start to work. Finds a soft spot in the zone. Sits down. And then just gets wrecked. But holds on to the football. So what starts out as a bad play turns into a pretty darn good job by Komet. That is, yeah. That is great. This is, just watch it, man. It's a great job by Cole. Getting a scramble drill. We've got it. Bang. Yeah, that is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. This, unfortunately, is another one of those where, so we get the ball back. It's a tie game at this point. To me, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, worst case scenario, we're going to drive down there, or at least we're going to burn the clock. We're not going to, give them the ball back, right? That's kind of my thought process when I'm watching this thing unfold live. Unfortunately, another error, another mistake forces us in a situation where this is a terrible drive starter. Okay, we have a great opportunity right here to start this drive with a positive play. What we have is we have a run play. You have a run play called, right? You just generated a huge turnover. You have a run play with a backside run adjust. Okay. What the run adjust is for is if we don't like this play to the front side, right? We're going to try to run some sort of front side run. If we don't like the numbers, right? You start sitting here and saying, hey, we can't get everybody blocked up on the play side. We've got this little backside run adjustment where you can try to fit this thing in, get yourself 3 to 5 yards. And then look, we have all these backers plus to the strength, right? Look at all these guys to the strength, right? If you count this guy on the center, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys play side, okay? You have this giant void too, this giant patch of grass that we could attack with this run adjust. So it's a great job by Caleb. Luther just has to handle this football better. We got to catch this thing. Dude, if he catches this thing and sticks his foot in the ground, to me, worst case scenario, he decides to go in here and gets 8. Best case scenario, it's a hard stick. He fights outside. He might score. He might run this thing, run out of the building with this thing. Instead, we start the most critical drive at the game-winning drive opportunity. We start with a drop. So now, 2nd and 10. Okay? What do we do? And I don't disagree with what we do. We put the ball right back in Caleb Williams' hand. And we dial up a shot play that is also wide open. Instead, it turns into intentional grounding because we unfortunately get driven back as a left guard. What I'm going to do is I want to talk about the concept. I'll talk about the concept on the wide, and then we'll get back to where we broke down a protection on the tight. But this is just easy. We're just taking the roof off here, and we're going to run one of these blaze outs, these blaze post outs. We got the action, then he'll be our flat control. I want you guys to watch DJ Moore because I think DJ Moore in a perfect pocket ends up popping wide open because I think number 4 would start to get a little bit greedy. If our back could get out a little bit easier, I think he would get a little bit greedy in here. And I think Caleb would be able to come alive and drive this blaze post out. We used to call it a blaze out. I think he would be able to drive that blaze out. And then it's like, holy smokes, we got a chance. Instead, what happens is we get blown up. Sorry, not our left guard, our center. We get blown up right here, and we give up so much push that we actually trip our guy coming across the formation. So I want you guys to watch Loveland. He's slicing across to try to account for this defender off the edge, number 23. Boom. He gets tripped by his own guy because our center gets blown up to where then Caleb tries to hard climb this pocket, tries to throw it away, ends up with intentional grounding, ends up in 3rd and 20, ends up in a check down, ends up in a punt, ends up in losing the football game. So, all in all, what actually happened? Too many unforced errors. Errors all over from our quarterback, from our receivers with drops, from our linemen with getting bullied. Too many errors. Now, here's the thing. Let's just start here. Do I think the Detroit Lions are a bad football team? No. I actually think that's a playoff team. Now, you have all of that go wrong, and you're still in the game. That, to me, is a positive. A positive way of looking at this is we had a ton of things go wrong, and we still almost won. The negative is we limped our way to the 2 seed, lost 2 straight against playoff quality opponents, lost 2 straight. We're still the 2 seed, which is a positive, but you lose 2 straight against quality opponents. Now you got to get ready for Green Bay. And do I think they can? Absolutely. Am I a little bit nervous going into it? I am. So I want you guys to comment. Let me know your level of, are you nervous or are you not? And then let's do it, team. We got playoff breakdown coming next week. I don't know if I ever thought I'd say that with you guys, with you Bear fans. I don't know if I ever thought I'd say it because it's been tough. It's been tough. We've been on a journey together. But now we're getting ready for the playoffs. So until next time, peace.